Hey, what's going on, guys? Bflattened here with a brand new video today. Today we're going to be talking about the Borderlands Pre Sequel Exodus mod. Now, Exodus changes a bunch of different things about the game and breathes new life into Borderlands the Pre Sequel as we know and love it. So let's get right underway, shall we? So first off, Vault Hunters are going to be a lot better at what they do. So Nisha's going to be a lot better at her dual wielding skill, Wilhelm's going to be a lot better at his laser skill, etc., etc. I don't want to go too spoiler heavy, but you'll be able to find a lot of changes that happen in your Vault Hunters that you choose. Pearlescents have returned. A lot of people really enjoy the pearlescents that exist. So pearls are going to be back inside the slaughter shaft maps. They drop off the bosses that appear there. I'm not going to spoil who the bosses are, but that's where you can find them. Seasonal enemies and drops return. It's actually quite ironic that we're fighting Irajira's alt form. Irajira originally had 3 forms. This is the second one that appeared, and the third one never made it to code. So this one is the fire and ice version of Irajira. So they return, which means that all the drops that were seasonal also return. So for example, this form can drop the old painful, but there's a lot more that can appear throughout the entirety of the pre-sequel. So look out for all of those extra drops. Next up, speaking of bosses, there are mini bosses that are brand new. You can find them all throughout the entirety of the world, the maps. There's even some in the DLC, so take a peek on that. Looks like they got a Last Rites rocket launcher, very nice. Speaking of new stuff, there's also the Manly Shield line, which is going to be a shield that is given to us by Jacobs. Manly Shields allow for extra bullets to enter your flesh, but you don't really feel them as much because they have quite the capacity, and they allow for quite the experience. Kind of like how the Rough Rider was. You get a lot more beefy and tanky for what you receive when wearing these shields. You reduce the elemental damage that punishes you for using conflicting types. This is a change that happens with the performance of how things happen. It applies new debuffs depending on the type of you're using, regardless if they are weak to it or if they are resistant to it. There are new drop locations, so with new enemies come new drop locations. Some things are going to be OG pre-sequel, and some things are going to be weapons that we've never seen in the pre-sequel previously in the vanilla mod, or in the vanilla game itself. Now, I don't want to do a lot of spoilers, but the luck cannon, for example, the luck cannon doesn't normally have a dedicated drop source. To my knowledge, it's just the bugs or things like the Maggie, for example, in the inside the grinder. Sorry, I totally slipped the name. These all actually have dedicated drops now, so if you were looking for them from a more dedicated source, you got it. Now, again, I don't want to really spoil anything, so with all the knowledge that I have dropped, I will also be giving the mod's description and the way that you can download it in the description of this video, if you would like. Finally, my rating of this mod ends up being a 8 out of 10. It has really solid, it has very solid mechanics and features, and those should definitely be praised upon. There's a lot more stuff to do that the original pre-sequel does not provide for us, so that's also noteworthy. And it's a really good mod. I suggest you trying it out if you like modded playthroughs. My only things that I don't like about it is that UVHM is still a hellacious grind to get to 70. It's not really completely and utterly fun to get there, especially if you don't do side quests like me. That's kind of my fault, but it still loses points for me in that regard. And I don't find that there's a lot to do after the game is over. The things to do after the game is up is Sentinel, Raid Boss version Sentinel, and there's also enemies like Irajira or alt form Irajira. And I guess there's just slaughter maps from there, and that's about it. The inclusion of a new raid boss would have been fun. on top of the new enemies. If you guys don't want spoilers, I'm about to drop a spoiler here as for a suggestion that could have happened. So I'm going to give a couple seconds here if you want to mute off. All right, and we're back. So another thing that I would suggest is the new mini-boss Hyperius. I feel like you should have a bigger version of him, even a raid boss version of Hyperius. That would end up doing quite a callback to Borderlands 2 for Borderlands 2 fans. I think that would be a heavy reminder of heavy reminder of who Hyperius was in Borderlands 2. Just little nitpicky things, but overall still a really fun experience. Coming back to the pre-sequel is actually a blast, and I really want to see more from the modding community in this game. So I hope to see things more like Reborn, things like Exodus, which this is, things like pre-sequel fix, things like that. I hope you guys enjoy the pre-sequel Exodus mod as much as I did. And once again, it'll be in the description for you to give it a whirl yourself. It's very easy to download. It's just a normal SDK to download and install. I'm normally not really good with mods, but it took me about 5 minutes to install. And then you'll have to activate it on your main menu screen every time you would like to. I've been doing a lot of modded playthroughs recently, both in Borderlands 2, pre-sequel, and previous Borderlands games. If you would like to see all of my reviews on these, I do have a bunch of them in the past, and I also want to include them in a playlist so you can have them all in one place at once. So feel free to take a peek at that if you would like to find the desirable mod for you. Other than that, my name is Bflattened, guys, and I'm signing on out of here. Take care, everybody. Laters.